Welcome to Mr. Piggy's. My name is TJ Swan. As you can see, it's a gorgeous autumn day. There's a snap in the air. The leaves are falling, and this brings back childhood memories of hunting wild mushrooms with my grandfather. And today we're going to make his famous mushroom bread. It's essentially a bruschetta made with wild mushrooms and garlic, caramelized onions with some Gruyere cheese on top. It's an accompaniment, very, very delicious. However, today we're going to make them out of wild oyster mushrooms. Now I have a tree where there's a gorgeous cluster of these wild mushrooms. I'm going to take you in and show you what they look like. However, I highly suggest that you do not pick wild mushrooms on your own unless you with a mycologist or a local mushroom hunting group where someone really, really knows what they're doing, because you can get very sick. However, you can buy cultivated oyster mushrooms, and they're very delicious as well. You can get them in some supermarkets now, gourmet shops, even some farmers markets, and they're very, very delicious. But today I'm going to take you in and show you this tree where this gorgeous cluster of oyster mushrooms are growing. My mouth's watering. We're going to cut them. We're going to make this mushroom bread. The perfume, the smell of these mushrooms in the wild are unbelievable. So I'm going to take you in now for a close-up and let you see what these mushrooms look like in the wild. Over in Italy, they train dogs and pigs as well to hunt for mushrooms. But I got myself something real special. I got myself a granny. She's half dog and half pig. She got a red bra on. She's going to go sniff around and we're going to get us some mushrooms. Right, Granny? Are you ready? Give me kisses. Okay. Thank you. Well, that's Granny. I think she's found something. Let's get a little close-up in here. Ooh, look what Granny found. She found little mushrooms. So here we have a gorgeous cluster of oyster mushrooms growing right at the base of this tree. It's absolutely stunning to see these growing in the wild and actually eating them. So I'm going to cut us off a nice piece. I'm going to cut in right down here along the base of the stem. I'm going to get this nice big cluster of mushrooms, and I'm going to leave a bunch of the stem on so you can kind of see what these look like when you get right in here with these gills here. Look absolutely beautiful, and they're spectacular. So okay, we're going to take these on into the kitchen and make a little bit of my grandfather's mushroom bread. Okay, for today's recipe we're going to need 2 pounds of sliced oyster mushrooms, 1 large onion, medium dice, 3/4 of a stick of butter, 4 cloves of garlic minced, 3 tablespoons of parsley minced, about a cup of Gruyere cheese grated, and some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese grated as well. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to caramelize the onions. We're going to add the butter and caramelize the onions till they're golden brown. Then we'll add the garlic and our mushrooms, let them saute, throw in some parsley at the end, and then we'll assemble it on some sliced French bread, put some Gruyere cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano, and bake it in the oven. And we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we now have the 1 large onion with a medium dice. It's important to keep it at a medium dice because when we cook this down, you want it to still stay moist. If you don't cut it thick enough, the pieces, it'll get dried out. So I put my 3/4 of a stick of butter. We're cooking it at a medium heat, about between 3 and 4, almost 4 on your electric stove if you have one. So it's a medium heat, a low heat. And we're going to cook this for about 30 to 45 minutes till it gets nice and caramelized, nice and golden brown and moist. Okay, and I'll see you in a bit when they're caramelized. Okay, here we have that 1 large onion, medium dice. It's important to keep it in a medium dice so that these onions stay nice and moist when they reduce down. I've been cooking these now for about 30 to 45 minutes till they're beautifully moist and caramelized. Now I'm going to throw in the 4 cloves of garlic minced. Get that in there. Give it a good stir, and I'm going to cook this about 3-4 minutes until that garlic gets nice and tender. And then we're going to add in our wild mushrooms. Okay, now that onion and garlic are nice and tender, we're going to add in about 2 pounds of these sliced oyster mushrooms. Stir them around real well. Get them nice. And we're going to let these cook for about 5 minutes or so till these mushrooms get nice and soft and delicious. Okay, now the mushrooms have been cooking on a medium heat for about 15 minutes, and they're nice and tender. I just threw in 3 tablespoons of minced parsley. I'm going to turn the heat off, mix it up real well, let it cool to room temperature. Okay, now that the mushrooms have cooled down, I put about 2 teaspoons of freshly ground black pepper in there. Now I'm going to put the Gruyere cheese, 1 cup of Gruyere, and about 1/3 of a cup of grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Stir it up, and then I'm going to spoon it over these toasted pieces of French bread and bake them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes until the cheese is nice and bubbly and goozly. And we'll see you at the table. I'm going to do a little playing for you. We're going to eat some of these delicious pieces of mushroom bread, have a little glass of white wine with it, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Okay, so here we have this gorgeous plate of mushroom bread baked at 400 degrees till the cheese gets nice and goozly and delicious. The fragrance of these mushrooms, it's just going to be an absolutely incredible accompaniment, or as an appetizer with a glass of red wine or a white wine. You're going to love these. There is nothing like this, and there's nothing like having wild mushroom bread. Well, it was great having you here at Mr. Piggy's. Hope you enjoyed picking those wild mushrooms with me and cooking that mushroom bread. It's absolutely delicious. I know you're going to love it. And this just brings back so many memories for me when I was a kid, picking these mushrooms with my grandfather and then hanging out at parties, cutting up, you know, late at night. Just everybody having a great time. And it was really nice sharing that with you. Mushrooms, mushrooms, I love wild mushrooms. Mushrooms, mushrooms, give me some mushroom bread. And it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, hey, it's alright. Mushrooms, mushrooms, I love wild mushrooms. See you next time. All of the recipes for today's segment can be found in Mr. Piggy's Southern Cookbook. The one, the only, and the first to hold a Library of Congress copyright as a cookbook and music CD together. Listen to the music, enjoy this food with family and friends, and you will be transported back to that bygone era of Mr. Piggy's.